Morning, guys. Today we're going to be doing a little canning. I thought I would take you along for the ride. We will be using a Presto Precise digital pressure cooker, or pressure canner, excuse me. This thing is wonderful. Little on the pricey side. I think, if I remember right, they're just under $300, somewhere in there. But well worth it. It takes you step by step of what you're supposed to do, and it does a very good job. It does hold 7 pint size and 5 quart size, I believe it is. Right now I'm only doing 6 pint size because what we'll be doing is recanning the large 98 ounce, the real large collard green is what we're doing. So basically I'm recanning those into smaller serve size, what we would need for each meal type thing. And it saves you money because it's about it ends up adding up to around 92 cents a jar, I believe it is, with what we get out of them. So, alright, so the first step, if you can see right here, there is a line, and that's your fill line. Okay, so I've already dropped my separated plate down in here. So we're going to fill it up. I usually use hot water. Alright, as you can see, I've filled it to the line here. Now what we will do is we're going to place our pot back into the pressure canner. So let me get that started here. Alright, give me a second. I'm going to open up the can and show you what we do next. Alright guys, as you can see, I've opened up my can of greens and I've placed a strainer on top of a bowl. All the juices that come from out of the can are in the bowl, okay? And the greens are on top. I'm going to reuse those juices for filling up my jars. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, canning salt. And I will show you, this is what I use. Okay, you can get this at Walmart. It's just pickling and canning salt is all it is. So I'm going to drop a 1/4 teaspoon in each one of these jars. All my jars have been washed and cleaned already. Alright, now that we got that done, we're going to move on to our next step, which is filling our jars. Okay? I have a ice over here, and I will show you what we're doing next here. Each can of these large cans will fill about they're only going to fill about 6 jars to each can. Sometimes you might get 6.5, maybe 7 out of them, depending on what vegetable you're doing. If you see, I take and tap the bottom of it and it lets everything settle. And I'm sure this is Rebel Canning, so I'm sure we're going to have somebody out there that's got something to say about me recanning these. I've been doing it for years. I really don't need an education on it. So anyways, you want to fill these where you have about you can see the lip of your jar here. Right here at the lip, and that's where you really want to fill them to, including your liquid. One of these jars is about perfect size for my, because this is just my husband and myself. And it's about perfect size for both of us. Like the green beans, when I redo the green beans, and there's something about it, I don't know what it is, but there's something about, I mean, if we take these directly out of a can from the store, they don't taste as good. There's something about once you recan them, I don't know if it's because the process of the canning is making it fuse those flavors in or something, but they are so much more flavorful once you, especially like your green beans and even your corn, it just tastes better. My husband and I both had over the years mentioned that several times, and how much better they taste. I also not recan, but I can potatoes. And I do that with the liquid method, not the dry method. And I usually leave the skins on. Some of them I'll take the skins off on some of them on the potatoes. I wish they would do like these large cans and do the what do you call that? Oh, shoe peg corn. All you can ever find is those small cans and the shoe peg corn for some reason, because that's really our favorite, is the shoe peg corn. But you only get the small cans in that. You can't get the larger cans. And the process time on these is, I believe it's 75 minutes for the pint size and 90 minutes on greens. There it is. 90 minutes on the quart size. And that's another wonderful thing about this canner, this electric canner, is it comes with a little booklet. And in that booklet, your manual tells you all the times that you should be canning everything for. Which comes in handy. So I hope I make my 6 jars this time. I want to say everything I've done so far is ever recanning, as far as recanning vegetables. I'm pretty sure I've always gotten just six jars out of the larger cans. Yeah, we're gonna make it. Might be a little bit short on that one, but pretty close. Pretty loose. Alrighty. So after you got your jars all filled with your greens or whatever vegetable you're doing, I'm just pushing the rest of the vegetables down in there off of this. Now we're going to reuse the liquid out of the can, and again go up to the rim. I want to make sure you got your right here. Which one am I doing? Trying to get your view set right. Okay, I think that's it. There we go. Anyways, up to this bottom lip right there is where you want to fill your liquid to. If you can see that. Right at the bottom there. And you'll see some of these jars don't quite have, I've kind of pushed them down, so, but it's okay if it's not right to the rim, it's fine. A little bit more. All right, I'm going to continue filling these up, and when I get finished, I'll come back and show you our next step. All right, each one of our jars have been filled up to the line that I'm talking about. Now I'm gonna get the air pockets out, okay? So we're going to pretty much come in here. I don't have one of those tools, so I use the end, and you can see those air bubbles start to come up. And I'm gonna go around the whole jar and get all the air bubbles out of here. That's very important to get them out because you don't want that building up the air on the inside. It will cause you, it can cause them not to seal properly, and also it can actually rupture your glass jar. So I just keep poking down on the sides until I don't see any more air bubbles coming through at all. One down. See if I can move you in closer, maybe you can see that better. You see those air bubbles start to come up. That's what you're looking for to get out of there. You don't want that. Basically, I'm just taking and going down the edge of the jar is what I'm doing. I don't know how you guys are with weather, but I'll tell you what, it's kind of been crazy here. Day before yesterday, we were walking around like 95 degrees. It was crazy. Crazy hot. Especially for April. Nuts. And the following day after that and yesterday, well, it was 2 days straight. Yeah. Saturday was the day that was extremely hot. And then Sunday and Monday. Yeah, Sunday and Monday. We walked outside and I had to go back in and put long pants on because they had gotten so cold. So I hope everybody else's weather's doing better. I know up north they were having some crazy stuff going on with the tornadoes and everything. You know, we live in hurricane country down here. At least with, thing is with hurricanes, you do have notice, you know. You have enough time to evacuate and get out. It doesn't mean that people in hurricanes don't have hardships. Take my word for it. We've gone through a couple hurricanes ourselves, and we lost just about everything that we had. You still deal with the hardships, but we do have a chance to get out of the way as far as harm, you know. You can replace, you know, physical items, but you can't replace a life. So, and that's the thing with tornadoes. You don't have a warning. Not to speak of. I don't think you do. Yeah, you got in hurricanes, you got tornadoes that spawn off the hurricanes. We get that too. But if you've already evacuated, as far as had enough notice. We had a couple of them that we went through that we really didn't get much of a notice, mainly because the news was coming out, the Weather Channel was coming out saying it was supposed to land someplace else, and it didn't. It came straight on top of us. But fortunately, it wasn't like it was a low category. No category is good. 0 category is good when it comes to hurricanes, but it wasn't like it was a 3, 4, or 5. It was like a 1, you know. Fortunately, I don't want to see anybody go through that. But anyways, all right. Give me a second. We're going to come back to our next step. All right. We're done debubbling. So now I've got me a small little rag, and I'm going to wipe off. I got me some vinegar here. I'm going to wipe off the tops of these jars. While I'm wiping them off, I'm feeling to see if any of the glass has been broken, if there's a piece chipped out or anything like that. So and sometimes I will take I did this with our baked beans. I made some homemade baked beans and canned those up. And take some jalapenos. You don't want to put much in there, maybe just 1 slice. Just to add a little bit of flavor boost. Give a little bit of flavor to it, you know, and I'll add that to them as well. All right, give me a second again. We'll come back with the next step. Putting our lids on. All right, we're putting our lids on. You just want to do this finger tight, like so. Okay, we're going to place these into our pot, which is it's not been turned on yet. It's going to go through a process, and I'll show you that next. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and place these into our pot. Like I said, this does actually fit 7 of the pints, but one of these cans only fills 6 jars, so that's all I'm doing. Okay, the next step, we're pretty much done with that process. I did want to tell you, as far as these lids go, I'm not talking about the rings, I'm talking about the lids. I get those from Dollar Tree, believe it or not, and they work excellent. Cost me $1.25 for 10. I think I get 10 in a pack. So I'm going to plug this in, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing here. Now, greens, as I said, they're 90 minutes. And if you're not ever sure, when you plug this in, basically this is going to come up saying right here, you can go to pressure can, or you can go to like a, what do you call that, a water can, water bath canning, to switch over to here. Right now we're going to set this at 90, or excuse me, 75, because quarts take 75 minutes on greens. Or not quarts, excuse me, pints. Take 75 minutes on your greens. Okay, we're going to click 1 time. It's going to tell you to insert the jars. Okay. The first process that it's going to do, we're going to put our lid on. And you'll see right here is where you start it at here. You're going to turn it to the lock position, and then we're going to put this little lever over here down and turn it. Okay, so it's locked in place. The regulator we're pulling off. Okay, so the first step, when I press this, because we put our jars in there, when I press this, it's going to say it's heating the jars. It's warming the jars up. Okay, there is a way with these to bypass that. I can't remember how it's done. I don't ever do it. My jars were cold, the water was cold, so it's going to take a little while for it to do its process of just warming up the jars. It will beep and tell you when that process is done. Then you'll come back over, you'll push the button, because it's going to say to insert the jars or fill your jars, which you've already done anyways. So press the button and then it'll start heating it up. Then after that, it will beep again and tell you when to put the regulator on. Once you put the regulator on, that's when your clock will start. Your 75 minutes will start at that point. Okay? So it will do its whole process of the 75 minutes. Then it's going to beep again. Okay? After the 75 minutes, it's going to beep again and let you know that the process is done. It's now moved on to the cooling process, and that takes a while as well. So I'm going to say probably a good hour and a half, sometimes maybe 2 hours, just to do one batch of canning, I would say. So it's not a quick thing. So, but I did want to show you this. If you have questions on how much time you need for whatever vegetable or whatever you're doing, whatever you're canning, whether it be potatoes, whether it be meats, your vegetables, whatever, sauces. It shows you here. Let's see if I can get you in close enough. Like you can see, it says greens right here, okay? And you can see, well, I put it 5 minutes too much. Which is not a big deal. I can actually start it over. Let's see. Just by pushing the X. Okay. This is what I was saying. If you want to go from pressure can to boiling water can, we're going to pressure can. So, because we were just in the warming process, I'm going to put this at 70 minutes. I had my time off by 5 minutes. Insert jars, press again. Still in the warming process. Okay. Anyways, I was going to show you. You could see down here at the bottom, it says process pints for 70 minutes. Your quarts for 90 minutes. It's got your corn. It's got mushrooms, carrots, beets, beans, your dried beans, your like it says dried beans or peas. Then it's got beans, fresh lima butter or pinto or soybeans. So that's freshly picked, say off the vines, so to speak. Or you got your dry beans. And then you got asparagus. You can move on in here further. And you'll see there's berries, there's apricots. That's boiling water canning, tuna, your ground meats. Let's see, game meats, potatoes. So just about everything you can think of is listed in here as far as telling you what your process time, what it needs to be set at. So we'll move on, and I will come back in a little bit when this is done processing and goes to the next step. I will show you that then. All right, it's been about 10 minutes and it just beeped at me, so it's wanting to move on to the next step. You can see right here it says fill jars. We've already done that, so we're just going to press this button down here, okay? And once you press it, you'll see now it changes and it says heat, okay? So once it's gone to that stage, it's going to beep in a little while, and that's when the temperature basically gets up to the full temp. Okay, it'll beep at you again when that's finished. So I'll come back to you in the next step. Alright guys, as you can hear, it started beeping, and if you can see right here what that says, it says basically to put the regulator on. Okay, this is your regulator, and this needs to be lined up where this part is facing the front. Okay, you're just going to push that down and then press your button again. Now you'll see this is when your timer starts. Before it was building up the pressure, okay, then it starts beeping, tells you to put the regulator on because the pressure is built up. And you're going to hear this for a little while until this little pin all of a sudden is going to pop up and you won't hear that anymore. So that's going to go on for probably maybe 5 minutes max, if that. And then there's a little button thing that pops up, and then that won't do that anymore. It won't make any noise at all. The next noise you're going to hear is when it goes down to cool down mode, and then once it gets past the cool down mode, it'll beep again, and that beep is telling you that it'll say done. Now sometimes when it says done, this little button up here at the top, where in the world is this camera pointing to? Sorry guys. This little button right here that everything's coming out of right now at the top, sometimes when it says done, you have to watch because that button hasn't released and gone back down yet. It'll stick a little bit, so you might have to clean that to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do as far as dropping and raising up. Now you can see it just popped up, and you don't hear that anymore. That's the biggest noise you're going to hear out of this, is a little bubbling from the inside, and that's it. So that's pretty much it, guys. Next step, like I said, it's going to do its little countdown on 70 minutes. When that's over with, then it goes into cool down mode, and that's it. I'll bring you back when I pull the jars out. Back shortly. Okay guys, it has finished up. It now says done on it, and as you can see, the little button here has dropped. So I went ahead and took this off. We're going to open it up. Always open it where it comes away from you. That way any steam is not going to burn you in the face. Now we're going to take these out. Place them on the towel here and let them start cooling down so they can seal. You'll hear them pop after a while. So that's what we have right there. 6 jars of greens. Let them cool down and they'll start popping. And then we take these rings, the outer ring, we take that off, okay? And then I will always lift it by its lid to make sure that they did a full seal, even though you'll see that the button has gone down, okay, when they pop. But I always like to double check them. I always go over to our cabinet as well, and I'll pick them up. I'll show you. I'll go back in and I will pick them up by their seals, like so. If you can see that, I'll pick them up by the seal just to make sure that everything's good with them. Because sometimes, once in a while, you can go back in. It might have had a false seal that you had at the beginning or something. And then, or they came unsealed over time or whatever. So you always want to check them. So, anyways, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful to some folks out there that want to get into canning. I would definitely highly recommend the Presto digital pressure canner. If it was up to me, I would have 2 of these just so I could do more jars at a time. It's just so easy and self-explanatory. It explains everything to you as you're going along, and it does a great job. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to shut her down, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. So I'll see you in the next one. You take care.